Out of all the bodybuilding comparisons that I have done, I've never done a Sergio versus Dorian Yates before. That is incredible, considering these two guys, maybe two of the best bodybuilders of all time. Sergio, three-time Mr. Olympia champion. Dorian, from 92 to 97. Six-time Olympia champion. Sergio, of course, from 67 till 69. Unbelievable. This is a fan request from you guys, part of your fan requested Friday lineup. And the original video did not get up to 500 likes, which I asked for. So why am I doing this one? Well, here's the poll from yesterday until today. And you can see Dorian Yates versus Sergio Oliva. It's not winning, no. But you guys came back and voted it up almost 10% more. So you know what? That shows me that you guys, a lot of you guys, really did want to see this one. So why not? Actually, I'm kind of curious how these two dudes stack up against each other. Very hard to judge realistically, though, guys. I mean, come on. You're not going to have the clearest shots in town. Things of that nature. I cannot get over how big Sergio Oliva looks. Now, the camera is tilted thusly, probably making him look a little bit thicker. But let's face it, guys. Arm versus arm. Sergio winning. Waistlines, definitely. Sergio has an edge. But I mean, Dorian, he has a pretty gosh darn good V-taper too. For a guy that's not known for his V-taper, look at that. That's pretty impressive, guys. Not to mention, you can see maybe more cuts, thin skin in the legs. Here's another front double. Different angle, I guess. Hard to get this one, hard to judge Dorian Yates' true silhouette with this one. The camera's a little bit too high. Wow, look at that V-taper and the arms of Sergio Oliva. That's unbelievable. Could you imagine if this guy was around in the 90s? In the early 2000s? The mass monster era? Would have been bigger than Dorian Yates or Ronnie Coleman, I think, with those arms. Let's go through these shots. And you might be surprised to realize how good Sergio stacks up against Yates. Now, is he beating him? No. But from a guy from 1960s, 60s, 70s, I mean, to even hold his own against Dorian Yates in the front lat spread in particular is a victory in its own. So yeah, he's winning. He's winning because he's not getting steamrolled over by this mass monster. And this is Dorian's strongest pose for sure. Now here's a closer up shot. Very flattering for Dorian and maybe extra, a little too flattering for Sergio Oliva. I mean, the camera's right under him, guys. Makes it look like his lats are just Dorian-esque. And those pecs, look at that. I mean, Superset Man, I believe, you guys watch Superset Man YouTube channel, he did a poll, I think, if anybody can defeat Dorian Yates in the front lat spread. Well, here you go, guys. Could be Sergio Oliva, and I think that was one of the choices. Anyway, shout out to Superset Man. Side chest development. Usually, I give, and this it isn't really to be judged, guys, to say one's winning, one's losing. I could tell you who looks better in the shot. Sergio looked better in the front double. Probably still losing. No, Dorian, they both look good in the front lat. Maybe Dorian winning. But I believe Sergio looks better in the side pec. Look at the arm on the guy. I mean, these guys from the 70s, arm day was probably every day. They all had jobs too. They had to work with their arms. So that's another thing. Just don't look at the legs. Just don't look at the legs. And you could have give that one to Sergio. Now the side tricep, on the other hand, this pose for Dorian, I don't care if he competed in the 1910s, the 1920s. This guy would have had a fantastic shot. Look at this. This is a moment in time, the way he nailed this. And he never quite was able to duplicate this, Dorian. He did it in 94, 95, but it just did not have that sting. Now, as far as Sergio is concerned, this is later on in his career. He probably doesn't look as good, although he was in pretty good condition in his comeback. But I don't think this was ever his best shot. And obviously you can see close up, you can see Yates has mounds upon mounds of tricep meat. And it's such an illusion for Yates. It was his lat, I think. He flexed his lat. His lat was so big, it pushed his tricep out. That's the only thing I can think of, because that tricep kind of disappeared in all of the other shots. Look at the condition of Yates. The side of the leg. Wow. Now, back shots are hard to come by for Sergio Oliva. We have a better rear double, but the rear lat, very difficult to find. On stage, I like to use on stage shots. You can see that he is holding his own as far as lat insertions. Genetics are concerned. I mean, nobody's going to be more genetically gifted than Sergio Oliva Sr., maybe Jr., but either which way, look at the tricep meat. Here, now you look at the triceps. It's Sergio all day long. Papa! Louis Margot. Trap separation, there can be no doubt. And what you can see from the glutes, it's a little camera trick there. I put one glute on the other side because it was being covered up. Now the rear double, don't worry, I have a better rear double by of Sergio. This is a blurry old picture. Can't see anything, but you can gauge how big the dude was. The size of his delts. Dorian known for his delts from behind, but Sergio, he's right there with him. But like I said, not a very clear shot. Now this one, now of course I can hear you guys now, but Mark Smacks Muscle, this is him from 1985. He was not in his best condition. Sergio, well, this is probably the best representation of his rear double by. Louis, both arms, Louis, do it now, Louis, you'll never get this chance again. But I mean, it's a pretty good shot. Is he beating Yates? Of course not. Yates is the best of all time. Look at it. You can see glutes, striations, cross striations, Christmas trees, proper, and the traps. Little uneven, yes, but still some of the biggest traps of all time. But Sergio, I mean, this was later on in his career. He was an older dude. They didn't have the technologies, baby please, of another Louis Marco reference, of the modern guys. And they just didn't have, the gym equipment, the rest periods. Like I said, he had work to do. He had stuff to do. Anyway, abs and thigh. And this is, like I said, just to size these guys up against each other. Sergio Oliva, silhouette-wise, genetically speaking, there's some groups, muscle groups, like the waistline, that Yates would never touch him. And you can even see that here in the front lats, or the abs and thigh pose, I apologize. And Yates, this is not a very good representation of his shot. Do the shot. But you can still see those booming lats. Throws that calf into the situation too. Midsection for midsection. Nobody in the world ever had a smaller midsection. He had a Victorian waistline. Well, maybe not Victorian. Go to the most muscular. Finish this one off. And I don't think that Sergio Oliva or Dorian Yates had the top 3, top 10 even, most musculars of all time. For the 70s, 60s, 70s, Sergio had a pretty monstrous shot. I have to agree, or I have to admit. But still, you slap these two down on the plate together and you see which one's better. Maybe Sergio, because he's winning in the traps. He looks less symmetrical, with all due respect, does Dorian Yates. You can see one of his traps way bigger than the other. You know what that's from? He spent a long time in prison. Anyone? Jackrabbit? Anyway. Little bit of foolishness. Why not? Why not? So, at the end of the day, I guess Sergio Oliva will never be able to touch Dorian Yates as far as conditioning is concerned. Hey, I'll give you that. It was a different time, though. It was definitely a different time. And as far as Dorian Yates goes, he will never be able to touch the shape, the silhouette, that just godlike structure of a Sergio Oliva, not to mention the arm size. I mean, the guy was unbelievable, so was Yates. Anyway, just a fun one. Who was better? I'm going to leave it at that. That's my decision on this one. Hit thumbs up on the video, guys. Dorian Yates has more Olympia titles. But hey, nobody else but Sergio defeated Arnold Schwarzenegger on the Olympia stage, so bragging rights all around. Have a nice one, guys.